Welcome to Squatch-D TV, where the truth is first before all else. Join your hosts, veteran investigator, TV personality, and author Steve Coles, and from the Kentucky Bigfoot Research Project and the Kentucky Fried Fixes channel, Chris Bennett. Sit back and prepare to take yourself on a journey with the longest-running Bigfoot podcast, Squatch-D TV. Here are your hosts, Steve and Chris.
And good evening, cyberspace. Welcome to Squatch-D TV for today's date, February 9th, 2025. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. Hello, Mr. Bennett. Good to see you, my brother.
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm a little bit achy today because we've been getting a lot of rain, but you guys have been getting like, a blizzard?
Yeah, well, we got, a blizzard. It lasted. It was overnight for most of it, which was lucky. It started about 7:45 last night. I was just coming back from my run, so I drove a little bit, and it was not a big deal. But we had about a foot drop last night.
Oh, yeah.
And not a big deal for us New Yorkers.
Okay.
And
you guys are tough. I think you're born wearing snowshoes or something.
Well, we're New Yorkers, so we have our own coping mechanism for the weather. Right. We complain about it.
Yeah, that's good.
That's it. We complain. But the other interesting thing is for those wondering, it seems like there's a little bit of a blowout going on the Super Bowl. Right now, it's last I checked, it was halftime. It's probably just getting underway for the third quarter. Mm-hmm. But last I checked, the Eagles were leading like 24-zip. Over the Chiefs. So Mr. Mahomes is not doing as well as living up to the hype. So we'll see.
Well, weirder things could happen after halftime. I mean,
that's true.
Come in there in the locker room and say, "Hey, you guys need to get out there and start doing something."
Yep. So we and you know what? We're approaching March 1st. And we know it's coming out March 1st is the all new book, Bigfoot, A Scientific Examination. We got to do our cheap plug right now. All right. That's coming out March 1st. Really super excited. I did get this proof book. It's not really a proof. It was an author copy, but I consider it a proof book. And I did find one little error on it. And it was just a spacing error where it kind of transposed one of the title pages onto another section of the book. So we fixed that. Fixed that. That's all fixed. It's not a major thing for my book. My book is a textbook, basically.
Oh, man.
And
it's common, though. I mean, you'll find a lot of books. You'll be a blank page in the center or something.
But it's been a productive week because what I did do is I did create a hard copy edition of The Psychology of Bigfoot, and that's on the site live now. So anybody wants a hard copy of The Psychology of Bigfoot, that's up. So right now I got a really good pair of books that are essentially my investigative guides, my books, the stuff that my years of doing this has kind of compiled. But we have one other special announcement as well. And that is that on March 15th, another book. And this one is the Squatch Detective's Guide to Bigfoot Investigations. And that's going to have a lot of how to set up a witness interview, how to interview the witness, how to collect evidence, all kinds of things from a mixture guide for your different substrates for casting materials to collecting DNA to a number of things. My mind is so fried from finishing that up.
Good stuff, man.
So that one is getting done too. So those 3 books, I mean, you get those 3 books if you want to become a researcher, or you are a researcher and want to up your game or understand principles behind stuff. Those 3 books would be phenomenal to have in your arsenal. A lot of science behind all of it. And
you just did a show Friday. Where was that show you were doing on Friday?
Yes, I did the Blonde and Booze show on Friday, and I didn't even mention this new book because I didn't finish it till today. It was kind of like my little thing. Like, all right, I'm gonna hit it this morning. I got up this morning, I shoveled some snow, got the dogs out. Well, I got the dog out because the other one is, and he wants out of the office. I'm boring him apparently.
Oh no.
Yeah, he ate his cookie and now he wants out. I'll be right back.
You probably don't like to be out in a foot of snow either. I mean, I can't blame him. I don't either. But yeah, I think Watson is not tall enough to actually see over 1 foot of snow.
Are you kidding? He loves the snow.
Oh, does he? Oh,
gracious. He ran in there and he jumped right into the snowbank today. You're like, oh, and then he jumped out and he ran around a little bit and he jumped back in it.
Yeah,
he did that about 4 times. Then he did his business.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but anyway, like I was saying, with those 3 books, I mean, you're on your way to understanding, a scientific way of thinking and my way of thinking when I conduct Bigfoot investigations, and it's pretty intense. And we have a couple other things planned too. So, but yes, I was on the Blonde and Boo show on Friday where I talked a little bit about the book and a little bit about, other things that I've done. Of course, people are like very happy that I call out hoaxers and stuff like that occasionally, and I call out baloney in the field, and again, there were some people that were like, wow, and I talked about my own experiences, my own sightings, a number of other things. So really, it was a great show, and looks like I may be heading to Missouri on the 3rd week of September for yet another show, but I'm not speaking. I'm just going to have a table there and hang out with everybody and make an appearance and maybe peddle some books.
Well, that'll be cool. Maybe you can make a sideline into Kentucky and we can do a day or 2 outings or something.
Lori, yes, absolutely. Whatever you want to do. Yes.
Oh, we have not done the roll call.
No, we have not done the roll call. We got to do the roll call. Of course, we get our announcements out of the way.
I'm scrolling. Golly, God.
Okay, first in tonight is Walter Kroll. Hello, Walter. Sharon popped in to say, and we got, of course, Grant Rasha, Danny Weeks, Pete H. Good to see you, Pete. We already said Danny Weeks. Mitch Hargrove, good to see you. Roy Longley popped in, saying a great show. Apparently, he's probably involved in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Stephen Ward, good to see you. It's in the house halftime. Crystal, good to see you. Ron Meldrum, hello. Lori Gibbs, good to see you. Deb, Mrs. Trackway is in the house as well.
Miss Trackway, welcome.
I see Jen is in the house. Of course, we know Barron is nearby. And apparently Martin is in the house as well.
Martin, welcome.
Mr. Marty McTighe. Oh, no, sorry. It's Martin Stiltz from Hominin Academia. Well, I love that name.
Good one.
Who else we got going? Of course, Mick. How can we forget Mick and Ristel?
I'm lost. Hey, Mick.
Mick and Ristel. There they are. Don Gumow Jr., Boris Kahn, Gorny Goo Goo, Helton, a.k.a. Faster Man. Good to see you as well. And who else? Robert Denduven. Hello. Arthur Watch. Arthur Watch is also here amongst us. Stephen Ward as well. Hello, Stephen. Shirty Hens. Hello, Shirty from Vermont. Good to see you. I love that name, Shirty. All right. Who else?
I'm 30. I'm lost. I've been scrolling for a while now.
And unidentified Arkansas phenomenon. Welcome. Good to see you. They just popped in. So that's our roll call for tonight. Not too bad for a Super Bowl Sunday. Of course, we are the alternative programming on.
Yeah.
And we always love a good story, don't we, folks? And tonight we're going to be looking at a good story. And this is a Bigfoot nursery story. Is it fact or is it fiction? And of course, when I see something like this, thank you, Martin. It's a good interview on Friday. Yep. I know. I think I saw Ristel in there as well. So anyway, I come across actually our good friend Chet from Central Virginia Bigfoot sent me this and said, "Hey, are you checking this out?" And it was a story with this neat little AI graphic posted on there uh, about a Bigfoot nursery. And that caught my yeah, there's Crystal says I was there. It was a great show. No, this is not from Behart's book, Bigfoot Highway. I'm not going to say where it came from. I don't like to out people so much anymore. Again, YouTube kind of frowns upon that sometimes. When obscure folks like this, and we don't even really know the person's real name. They posted this kind of anonymously, or they posted this under a particular nom de guerre on Facebook. So it really doesn't matter who, to out them. It really would mean kind of meaningless. But they posted this whole thing. Like, again, we look at people trying to elevate themselves like they're some sort of expert without putting the work in. I claim not to be an expert. Although people may view me as that, being an expert is a point of view, not a title. And that's why people get all hung up on that. Oh, you're not an expert. Oh,
yeah, that's the thing. We don't want to be self-proclaimed. That's the deal.
Right.
When you're an expert, you don't have to run around telling everybody you are.
Right. Exactly. Self-proclaimed. Okay, so here is the story broken down into paragraphs. And what we're going to do is we're going to break it down into sections, and we're going to talk about it easily. So the first section is in the beginning of the cohabitation site in North Georgia. And that's always a problem.
Oh, no.
There was a family group of 4. There was an adult male, adult female, juvenile believed to be a male, and a young one. After trust and respect, they changed it to a nursery site. Due to limb break evidence seen in the Bigfoot family had been there for a long time, but then things changed. Somewhere the Bigfoot family found several white 1/4-inch PVC pipe and 10-inch lengths. Wow, that's pretty precise. No pictures, apparently, of any of this. And they started using it to remark their trails. I think he meant the right mark. The pipes were placed on the ground, pointing towards the trail entrances where the main trail split into multiple trails. They also marked danger with the pipe. One of the pipes had been broken, and a 4-foot section was angled. Well, wait, hold on. I thought the pipes were only, I'm sorry, 10-foot lengths.
Yeah, 10 foot. Okay, yeah.
10 foot, not 10.
Not me too.
Yeah. After looking where it was pointing at a hornet's nest. Dun, dun, dun. Also, the shallow end of the pond, they had placed a row of light-colored branches. The pond had been made with a bulldozer and had steep edges with 3 to 4 foot drop-offs. It is believed this was a warning to the new Bigfoot to beware before entering there. Okay, already I'm smelling more BS than not. I mean,
pipes may have had something to do with this.
There's a hornet's nest. Oh, there's a 3 to 4 foot drop off into a pond. Yeah, there's issues there.
Thank God for PVC pipe.
Yeah. So let's look at a couple of things here. Okay. The claim about Bigfoot using PVC pipes as trail markers is highly implausible when compared to known primate behavior. While great apes do use tools, chimps use sticks for termite fishing, gorillas use branches as walking aids, they don't systematically create directional markers or warning systems. The deliberate placement of pipes to mark trails and dangers would represent a level of symbolic communication not seen in any known non-human primates. And of course, why is this person assigning human qualities to the Bigfoot? Because hoaxers and storytellers do not know how to separate their fiction from anthropomorphization or anthropomorphication. They don't know how to do that. And we're going to talk about anthropomorphization in a minute. But they don't know how to do that. That's a tell. So when somebody is bullshining you,
Don's got a good point.
Right?
They don't use human stuff. They don't need to.
As we've used criminal psychology to debunk some things where things just don't add up or make sense psychologically, like, why would you film something for 10 minutes and then all of a sudden, because somebody screams, you run and get your gun? We look at those kind of inconsistencies, and here we're looking at a whole bunch of inconsistencies here, and it seems like they're giving human qualities to something, which is, if you're watching something and it's the truth, you're not doing that. Yeah, do they have a pipe cutter? Okay, next. Oh, there's more. There's plenty more. We got plenty more here. So here's the next round. But then it happened. There was an adult mom, 2 to 3 juveniles and 2 to 3 babies. Well, which is it, 2 or 3? Right? You're there. Why is it 2 to 3?
You'd think they would have counted. Yeah.
Right?
Not an estimation.
Again, that's a vague enough thing to say this is a story, not anything truthful.
Pretty vague, yeah. Exactly.
If you're there and making an observation, well, it had 3 babies, and there was also a couple of other juveniles there. You would not be, 2 to 3. Right. Well, which is it? 2 to 3. It's kind of like being kind of pregnant. You're either pregnant or not. There's either 2 or 3. Which is it? You're making the observations, right? Again, big flag here as an investigator. The juveniles would help the adult mom, and each baby always had a juvenile with it. You see here, again, more anthropomorphization there. More assigning human-like qualities to a Bigfoot. Yeah. The babies would be there 8 to 10 months. Then the next March to the end of May, different newborn babies would show up again. Right. Okay, facts. The described nursery system with multiple juveniles caring for specific babies doesn't align with known primate social structure. While cooperative infant care exists in some primates, like marmosets, the described system is more reminiscent of human daycare than natural primate behavior in great apes. Gorillas live in harems with one silverback male. Chimps have fission-fusion societies, and orangutans are largely solitary. Reproductive patterns. The described annual breeding cycle with babies appearing at the same time each year is inconsistent with great ape reproduction. Great apes have long interbirth intervals, 4 to 8 years, no specific breeding season, and single births, twins, are extremely rare. The story description of multiple babies appearing annually doesn't match any known primate reproductive pattern, and that does include Homo sapiens as well. Right. 33 zip. 33 zip.
Driscoll is a man of enlightenment.
That's right. So again, this story has a lot of failures to it. It's just such. There we go. At the same time, another strange thing happened. There were numerous blue jay calls coming from the wood's edge. Before this time, there had been bluebirds, but never any blue jays. Every time we would leave the house, blue jay calls would sound off from off from the wood's edge. It was as if they were warning all the creatures in the woods that we had left the house and gone outside.
So they use the blue jay calls as a warning system that the people are coming out.
Don't get me a Snapple.
So,
Hey.
using bird calls, suggesting that blue jays were acting as sentinels for Bigfoot has no basis in comparative biology or science whatsoever. While some primates do understand other species' alarm calls, there's no evidence of any primate species deliberately using another species as lookouts.
This is getting into a conspiracy.
Perhaps I should say that any great other than Homo sapiens, we do use dogs and other animals like a lot of times we will put donkeys in cattle herds because they will sound off if a predator approaches.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But I don't think, how could you train a blue jay to be a lookout for you? I have no idea.
They're all forest friends.
I mean, I could train. I trained a cat, to do little tricks, and cats are normally you can't train them, but to train a blue jay to be a lookout for you.
Yeah. Us and like, something's coming. Look out! Oh no! There's a chupacabra in the area. Anyway.
Oh my God. I guess they all speak forest language, huh?
They're all
like in a Disney movie.
The Bigfoot goes up to him and goes, cheep, 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 cheep.
Yeah. Oh,
or,
man.
Or Blue Jays have an awful call. Perhaps the Blue Jays are just going off because they see you. It has nothing to do with the Bigfoot at all. Yeah. Again.
Yeah, ours are pretty noisy. I hope there's not a Bigfoot nursery around here. Our blue jays are pretty noisy.
I played the chickens and Danny Weeks said, grab that egg. We're worth the fortune.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember, eggs, the new steak.
Yeah. Oh, dude. But someday if you see me driving down the road in the back of a limousine, you'll know I became an egg farmer.
Actually, if you go to egg farmers, the eggs are still pretty cheap.
Yeah, that's true. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
Oh, well. Hey, whoa. Back up.
Well, no. This is not political. It's because of the bird flu.
Okay.
What it is, it's the bird flu. And, you have these big, massive production companies that crank out eggs for supermarkets, and you have this bird flu striking their
well, you brought up bird flu. I'm going to bring something up. Normally I live on the migration route of blackbirds and starlings. In the spring and in the fall, you can just look up in the sky at any time, any particular time, and you're going to see the sky is filled with these birds going over. It's incredible. But here lately, I mean, they've been hitting my house. Flying into the side of my house, and they've never done that before. I don't know what's going on.
You're haunted.
Maybe I don't know.
You're haunted.
They've been flying into the side of my house because I'll be sitting around, watching TV, minding my own business, and all of a sudden I'll hear flump. Like, well, what the heck? Look out the window, and there's a bird, flopping down. I don't think it has to do with ghosts. No.
Must be that new satellite receiver you have going on in your house. Like,
I don't know, but they've been flying into the house for some reason. I don't know why. I hope it's not bird flu. I'm not going to go out there and pick none of them up. Let the cats get them. Oh gosh, can the cats get bird flu? I've got one outside cat. If they eat an infected bird, could they get the flu?
I don't know.
Well, he stays outside, so he's not bringing it inside to me anyway. But still, I hate it.
Don says Bigfoot ordered them to dive bomb your house. Obviously.
Oh yeah, Don. That's right.
That's because the Blue Jays weren't available. They're too busy guarding, acting as sentinels.
It's conspiracy. Yes.
So they send the starlings in from North Georgia over to your house because they knew we were going to be talking about them today.
Oh, God, this is it. Yes. It's the Bigfoot.
Shirty says, put decals on your windows so the birds don't fly into your windows.
Maybe I need to put a cat decal up there or something. They'd probably stay away from that.
You know, maybe you should put a no-fly zone, sign
Yeah,
in
maybe.
your house too, maybe.
But it's not been just like hitting a window. They just hit the side of the house, and it's got like a white
Well,
aluminum
let
siding.
me explain. You guys have been having some weird weather down there,
Mm-hmm.
and that may affect their equilibrium.
Maybe.
I mean, when you think about the cold weather, you guys, the real cold snap you had some more snow than you're used to having. It could throw them off balance.
Yeah, maybe something, but it's different. And the only reason I've noticed it is because they said that we've got that bird flu stuff in the U.S., so they acted differently this time. So I don't know if it's related or not, but they don't normally, fly into the house when they're going by.
Okay, let's take a look at something else here. So let's look at the anthropomorphic values assigned to this. Complex tool use and planning, deliberately using PVC pipes as directional markers, understanding and implementing a standardized warning system, and creating safety barriers with arranged branches at the pond. These show human-level abstract thinking and safety planning rather than natural animal behavior. So what is that telling you? The story is human abstract thinking. It has nothing to do with observed behavior at all.
Right.
And and when you look at the vagueness, 2 to 3 without being, we had, what was it, 2 or 3? So when you add that with this little flavor that this is, showing union level abstract thinking to create this story.
Yeah.
Right. So advanced social organization. Right.
That's a good point, Grant.
Yeah, and they don't use fire, so or they don't wear clothing, but they're using, they understand. So
if you're listening on the podcast, Grant Rocha said they can't start a fire, but they can use PVC pipes for markers and make a water treatment sewage plant out of them.
Right. Friggin' beautiful.
Yeah. That's next. That's next. The Bigfoot.
So they look like they have advanced social organization operating what essentially amounts to a structured child care system, having designated caretaker juveniles for specific babies, maintaining a scheduled recurring nursery operation. This mirrors human daycare centers rather than natural primate social structures.
Right.
So again, this is a human made up story. And of course they got people on there commenting like, "Oh, wow, that is so cool. Oh, thanks for sharing." Oh, and you have these people that either are just humoring them or unfortunately some people are just, well, they put it down on Facebook. It must be true.
So this area is like a school for baby Bigfoot.
I don't know, but we ought to start one.
Yeah, it seemed like to me they said they had new infants every year. That's kind of weird.
Yep. Human-like communication methods using artificial materials as symbolic communication, creating and understanding trail markers, establishing a consistent warning system that suggests human-level symbolic thinking. Again, human-level symbolic thinking. This story is made up by a human being. That's why we have this particular story.
Hey, Grasshopper. Yeah, this came off of Facebook.
Oh. So yeah, what else? We got any more on this? Oh, modern safety awareness, understanding and making human-made hazards. Bold, understanding, marking human-made hazards. Right, warning others about specific dangers. Hornet's nest, creating safety barriers. This human again shows human-style risk assessment and preventative thinking.
Yeah.
We would mark it off. Especially on trails that we're walking, we would mark dangers off. A Bigfoot doesn't walk the trails, right? I mean, they may follow some trails, but they don't take ownership of them. They didn't create the trails. You know, so unreal. Again, this is all more evidence that this story is just a made up machination of somebody's imagination.
Well, it being in North Georgia, that's not good to begin with.
Yep.
But have there been sightings in North Georgia? Yes, absolutely.
Okay, calendar-based organization following an annual schedule for breeding and births, maintaining consistent seasonal patterns, having organized rotation system for babies. This reflects, again, human concepts of time management rather than natural breeding cycles. And again, this is somebody making up a story that can help themselves by putting anthropomorphic values to behavior. When you have a real Sasquatch sighting, you get observations. You don't get these complex type of things that are going on, only from people that provide no evidence whatsoever to what they're saying. So when I look at Bigfoot reports and Bigfoot sightings and even, Bigfoot in films like that, it off puts me sometimes that they often will assign anthropomorphic values to a Bigfoot. And even the movie Exists, as much as I love that movie, does put a lot of anthropomorphic values on the Bigfoot. It's almost like anytime there is a Bigfoot story, we as Homo sapien human beings cannot resist putting our own values into that story. Therefore, when you look at these stories from a perspective of encounters, when you see such a complex story like this, it automatically should be sending warning signs into your head. The more anthropomorphic values they're assigning to this sighting or to this alleged encounter or habitation,
Right.
the more red flags it should generate. Right. We should be looking at it from an aspect of, I don't understand why they're doing this. I saw the Bigfoot leaning over, scooping some food or doing something. That's not anthropomorphic. But I saw the Bigfoot cradling the baby and stroking its head and cooing to it, calming it down. Again, that is putting human assigned values, what we would do on something like that, and should be a big question.
Yeah, seems like these Bigfoot creatures were putting a lot of forethought into protecting their young ones from dangers, man-made dangers, and natural too, the hornet's nest, by using PVC pipe. I don't think a real animal actually does.
Lori Gibbs put in there, okay, I have no evidence, but I believe. So am I less than because I have no sighting? Not at all. Not at all. No, not at all. No, you can believe, and you're here watching a show that's based on science. So that says a lot for you right there. If you're sitting there watching every single thing about Bigfoot and agreeing to some of the less scientific stuff, then that is an issue. And even if you have experiences and no evidence, that's okay too. But when you have no evidence and make incredible claims, such as this Bigfoot Nursery, not saying you, Lori, but people making this claim that they have this with no pictures, no evidence. I mean, obviously, there would be Bigfoot scat, right? You would find their poop, right? You would find their poop.
Poop.
Bigfoot died the child
Everywhere.
raising.
Poop.
Right? And that is a point check made to this guy. Like, hey, can you collect some scat for me? I would love to have it evaluated. Because obviously, if you have a nursery, Bigfoot, nursery, there would be scat, right?
Sure. Yeah. No. The problem with these habituations is that they never have any evidence, and there's always some convenient excuse why they can't obtain evidence. Oh, I see the Bigfoot every day. Well, why don't you take a picture of it? Well, they don't really like cameras.
Right.
Well, how do you know? You've never tried it?
Well, again, there's an anthropomorphization right there. They don't like camera. How do they know what cameras are?
Right. Yeah, they don't know what a camera is.
Has anybody showed Bigfoot a picture? Then how the hell do they know what a camera is?
They have no idea. I'm pretty
sure they may have a basic understanding of what a firearm does.
I think so. Yes,
right, and that's just observation. They watch this thing, bang. Okay, something's not right here. Yeah. That is perfectly understandable. Understanding how to load a firearm would be a whole nother scenario.
Right.
Same thing with audio recorders. How do they know what an audio recorder is? The total anthropomorphization of things. And when you start looking at it from that aspect, you can start to see where, science takes over and their science or their beliefs start to fall apart. That's right, Bill. Scat can be bad unless we're talking about jazz. Skibbity boop bop beep 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 scoobity bop bop boo beep beep bop boo. All right, we just did a little.
I think that their ignorance of equipment, modern equipment like cameras and the recorders, would be something that you could use to your advantage. I've done it before to where I've been out in the sticks walking around, and I see a glimpse of something from my right eye, and rather than just stop and just start looking over in that direction, I can pull out a camera and hold it over in that direction without turning my head, and I can look right down at the camera and see if there's anything over there.
Mick says Sasquatch may well know what an outhouse is. Yes, we call that the portal potty. You're right, and you're actually right, Robert. They may recognize things that are not natural to their environment. That is for sure. But that doesn't necessarily mean or give them means to avoid particular. I mean, if you get yourself a copy of this, and it's available in softcover too, I talk about, and I have scientific papers on what a Bigfoot can and cannot see. I have a scientific paper on Topinum lucidum. This is all in this book. Like I said, it's not a 402 pages. It's not a small book by any means. And, Chris can attest that. I don't know if you've gotten to the infrared section in that yet. I don't know if that's one of the.
I don't know, man. There's so many freaking subjects in there. It's like a reference. Okay, it's not something that you're going to memorize. But anything you want to know, you look it up, and there's going to be a section on it. And you can read scientific paper. And if you want to go further, you can look back in the bibliography and go and find the exact paper that came from and research that.
Right. Yeah.
Good tool.
Danny asked Steve, was that story written in written form or spoken? It was written. In fact, let me scoot back here. That is the actual post right there. And that was the picture that they put up there with it. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice?
Possibly this could have came from, someone's website or something.
But you see how anthropomorphic this picture even is.
Yes, they're sitting on the rock watching the little one play in the creek. Yeah.
Right. And what I did was I broke this story down in sections. And yes, here's another thing. Allegedly coordinating with Blue Jays' lookouts. Understanding human patterns, leaving the house and communicating this to others. This suggests human-level strategic thinking and interspecies manipulation. Again, more signs that this is a human-made story. Every section of this story had human values in it from a human perspective.
Now, that's not to say that they do not communicate with each other to let each other know that there may be humans in the area. Because I happen to believe wholeheartedly that
I keep getting more and more to the there we go.
A stick break or a short whistle is a quick way to let others know that you're in their area. Yeah.
Right.
Like a,
right. And interspecies communication, that's fine. But to suggest that, well, the Blue Jays are alerting every time we log out, the Blue Jays are alerting the Bigfoot.
Ooh. Oh, we're getting into the woo there, babe.
Well, we're getting into fantasy is what we're getting into.
Yeah. If Dad Bigfoot sees some researchers walking in or hikers, he can snap a stick, and everybody in the Bigfoot family says, "Okay, something's keep your eye open. Something's going on." You guys quit playing with the PVC pipes. Something's coming on. Somebody's coming up the trail.
So there is, and
yes, dirty. Blue Jays are alerting each other. Yes, that's exactly what's going on there.
Right. There's interspecies worrying about it, and sometimes, let's face it, Blue Jays are just noisy to begin with, whether somebody's out there or not. There could be a cat out there. There could be a dog out there. They could be just pissed off at one another.
My dogs hate those things. They land in the tree behind the back porch there it's on the second story. They land in the tree back there and they start going. Well, the dogs cannot stand that. I mean, 9 dogs, going after them. Every one of them want to rip it up.
It never ceases to amaze me that, especially in the last few years, between taking more behavioral science courses, which I have done through, the behavior panels, the body language tactics course,
right.
Doing research for the psychology of Bigfoot, doing all this research for these books. When I write a book, it enlightens myself. It's also a learning experience for myself. So I learn and then I pass that off to everybody else. That's my goal and job. So it's just, and when I apply it to the principles of my life experiences, not only with Bigfoot witnesses, but the criminals and witnesses and, witnesses to accidents, witnesses to fires, witnesses to, burglaries and all that kind of stuff. My, general, claims witnesses. When I apply all this gain knowledge to that, it just makes all the sense in the world. Now I'm not only understanding why and a lot of times I would have that guttural instinct or that gut instinct to say they're not telling the truth, but now I can articulate that even more so. And that is something that I strive not only myself to be, but for everybody. Also Blue Jays are jerks. You're straight on there, Roker.
They're noisy.
Yeah. But it not only enhances myself, but I want it to enhance my our viewers, our listeners. I want it to enhance the readers of my books. I want to pass this knowledge on because I think as a community, even as an enthusiast, it's important to know the processes, to understand the science behind it. Because when we confront skeptics, if we come at this from a logical, scientific, investigatory based argument, we will come out on top. There's a chapter in the book that I gotta stress. I'm sorry to be talking about this so much, but this really has me excited. And it's under my social science paper section. And, the failure of mainstream science to investigate the Bigfoot phenomenon. And it starts off with a quote from Dr. John Bendernagel. And I don't want to give it away, but, you know, there is just no excuse for their science not to invest or to go forward with a Bigfoot research project. Now, like the University of North Carolina, we know their DNA study and stuff like that. It's for all types of cryptids. That's cool. That's a good thing. But nobody's putting researchers in the field under school grants or anything like that. Schools are, once again, focusing on the political rather than the science. And that is unfortunate, because in the 70s, Peter Byrne did get grants to go do what he did. Unfortunately, I don't like to speak ill of the dead, but we never really did get to know much about his research, did we?
No.
You think about it, he did a lot of research. Where did that money go? Was there research done? How much was done? We know he got a hell of a lot of reports, but what evidence was found? We don't know, because he never coughed it up.
Well, if you don't publish your findings, your findings are lost for good. They're lost forever. So I think that's a good reason for you to keep publishing your findings, Steve, in your books. Because you never know. Tomorrow is not promised.
But
it would be nice if we could get some funding to do some legitimate Sasquatch research, because the only thing that we've got available right now is just guys on their own dime spending what time they can, when they're not at work or out in the woods checking stuff out.
Well, they're not going to give the grants to us. You damn well know they're not.
No. But somebody should be getting paid to be out in the woods 24/7, to be living there, looking for these creatures, especially in a hot area, doing research, trying to locate a group of these individuals. And once they did locate them,
Grant, I appreciate you, Grant, but please no politics in the chat.
Yeah,
that's one thing we avoid.
Yeah. But it's not being done. Nobody is receiving any funding to help any research whatsoever of Bigfoot.
And if I may just allude that there's a reason why we don't do politics here.
Yeah.
And I may or may not agree with you, Grant.
Yeah.
But the reason why we don't do politics is because it is such a hot button, volatile topic. Yeah. The same thing with religion. So politics and religion are things we tend to avoid, although we did have the whole Nephilim thing, and that got a little bit volatile at points, but we avoid the politics because this is science, and I'll be the first to say politics does not belong in science. Plain and simple.
That's right.
It is what it is, and it isn't what it isn't, what it isn't. So, that's why we try to avoid that hot button topic there. And then and I know you just do jokes. That was funny, but we want to avoid political humor,
right?
Because you might offend somebody, and we don't want to start a fight in chat. And then we got to send the bouncer in to break it up. And
I think it was on an episode of Monster Quest.
Although I will say we did have one political Bigfoot episode where we did do a parody, but
yeah, that really wasn't politics. It was a joke, more or less. But there was one episode, and I think it was Monster Quest. Dr. Meldrum was in that episode, and he was working with a guy that was a tracker. And this guy was from where was it?
I'm going to start this question just so when you're done,
okay,
we'll get to it.
I think he was from Finland or Iceland. I can't remember. Can you remember, Steve? where this guy was from, but he was very good. Now, if we had a guy like that out in the woods 24/7, okay. I mean, have him a nice cabin set up where he could sleep off the ground. But if we had a guy like that, a tracker, man, I think this mystery would be solved really quickly.
No, I agree. I agree. They'll figure out real quick what it is. Robert Denduven has an awesome, excellent question here, which I love taking good questions like this. Stephen Chris, what is your thoughts on people who say they have activity on their property, don't want outsiders to come onto it to do research? Reason is not to anger the local tribes. And I assume by tribes, he's meaning the Bigfoot themselves. Well, my first impression as a street investigator would be, sounds like a bunch of horse shit. Pardon my French. Right. Hang on a second. Yeah, you know what? It doesn't.
No, you're muted. You're muted, babe.
I know.
Okay. But a lot of there are people that don't want you on their property that maybe have Bigfoot activity, but it's not for the reason they don't want you to find the Bigfoot. It's usually they don't want you messing around with their deer hunting.
Right. There's a lot of things. Is that not to anger the local tribes? Obviously, if they're on a Native American reservation, I can understand that. But if they're talking about necessarily the Bigfoot upsetting the Bigfoot, then I would say they're full of horse manure. For the basic reason, how do they know that?
Right.
How do they know? Again, there's anthropomorphization of that more people on the property would anger them. Right. That's a total anthropomorphization. That means that the story is probably made up. And what kind of exactly, and Robert, feel free to elaborate in chat. Because I know you want to if this is a specific case you're talking about, well, Grant, you were something else. Grant, love you, man.
I've had a neighbor before contact me and question me about some tracks he found around his deer corn feeder, and he found big barefoot tracks all around his. He had an automated deer corn feeder he kept down by the river, and he was wanting to know my opinion about it. And I said, "Well, yeah, it's very possible you've got some company up there coming in enjoying a handful of corn every now and then." But they didn't want any type of investigation because they didn't, of course, obviously didn't want to mess with their deer hunting. I can understand that. A lot of people that have these creatures on their private property, especially down by the river.
Sorry, I had to switch out my headphones. There, it was getting warm under those cans for some reason. I'm like, studio lights are blaring tonight.
Yeah, but I was just saying, a lot of the property owners don't want people on their property, and
right. But not for those reasons. The reasons why they don't want them is you don't want destruction of the property.
Yeah.
But why the local Bigfoot may retaliate on the property owners. Again, revenge is an anthropomorphic ability. We've seen chimps hold grudges, but the whole outright vengeance thing or revenge is again a now. All right, that's something that can easily be dissuaded. But here's the thing: if a person, hang on a second. I don't know what's going on. I have this routine for some reason to keep shutting my lamp off in my office every night. And I've looked through all my routines and I can't find it. But for every night, it shuts off. I tell it to turn back on, and 5 minutes later, it shuts off again.
The men in black are messing with you. That's what it is, man. During the show, they're messing.
I'm about ready to get rid of that bulb and put something else in it because
I think
I disconnect my clapper. I wish I had got clapper.
Oh man,
Clap on.
Yeah,
Clap
Grant, you're giving away your age there, bud. That's an old commercial. Oh,
yeah, we used to have a girl in high school named the Clapper.
Oh no. Oh. Well, anyway.
Sorry, I just had to. I couldn't let that one slip despite this being a family show.
Well, most people don't live back in the woods far enough to where these creatures are. You know,
Right.
It's probably and if they do, they're probably got enough activity going on there that they don't have a lot of Bigfoot stuff going on around them. But those that do, I mean, I'm pretty sure if they're self-sufficient living back in the woods, they could probably feel like they can take care of themselves. You know, and a lot of people never mention having a sighting. You know, there's lots of people in Kentucky who have had a sighting that they won't tell anybody about it because nobody's going to believe it. They'll just make fun of them. Well, yeah, you saw Bigfoot. Yeah, okay. Right, sure. And so I think a lot of people, fail to come forward because of that. And then you have the exact opposite. People come forward because they want that attention. They need some sort of recognition, and
Right.
Steve's got a chapter about that. And
yeah, there is, and I got several chapters on it in the psychology of Bigfoot and the reasons why people do what they do.
Right.
And Grass says, that's your opinion, Grass, about tracks not being evidence. They are, but they're heavily discounted by science for whatever reason. The Billy ape tracks before the Billy ape was discovered was considered evidence. I have no idea why. Sasquatch tracks were never. And a lot of people believe because it does not, again, I talk about, the mainstream science, not, their failure to investigate this. Yeah. Mainstream science has their own confirmation bias. And a creature such as a Bigfoot goes against a lot of what they believed or what they were teaching.
Right. Well, bear tracks are not evidence of Bigfoot. And these homemade plywood stompers, those are not evidence of Bigfoot. Right. But there are other tracks out there that are evidence of Bigfoot. Depending on and you got to know what you're looking for. And I know you know what to look for.
Right. Right. They're evidence, not proof. There's difference. Yeah. Proof and evidence. Now, they could be evidence of a hoax, or they could be evidence of of something else, another animal, a misidentification, perhaps, or they can be evidence of a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
But it all depends, and that's why you need to. Again, I talk a lot about in both books the importance of sending, your shots, your measurements, your whatever you can send to people in the know, like Dr. Meldrum, other. There are numbers of other biologists across the country and wildlife experts that can look. And, I can't not stress the importance of people in the field. If you look, at my my library, reference library, I have this Guide to Mammals, Simon Schuster's Guide to Mammals.
Yeah.
Peterson Field Guide to Animal Tracks, right?
Mhm.
Len McDougall's The Tracker's Handbook. And in all of those, we look at predation, scat, tracks, how to differentiate quadruped from bipedal, how to differentiate a number of things. That's why it's really important to understand every single bit. And if you don't, and it's okay if you don't, you can go out there and not be the best tracker. You can go out there and not be the best. Like my weakness is fauna. I don't know necessarily what's edible out in the forest. I know my oaks, maples, birches, conifers and all that, those wonderful things. But I see a bush. I don't know. That's something I got to train up a little bit more on. I said more on.
Well, yeah, that's a difficult subject too, Steve, because that varies depending on where you're at in the country.
Yeah, right. Yep.
But some places have edible things, but other places don't have those edible things.
But that stuff is important to know too.
Yeah.
From an ecological standpoint, okay, you have a possible Bigfoot habitation in an area or a Bigfoot activity. What would they be eating as far as the fauna? What's edible? What's not edible? What's dangerous? What's not? So that does become important. It's, I mean, there's no, I mean, these are some of the first things I learned when I got out into the field was tracking. That's why if you look at the Monster Quest episode, they list me as a tracker because that's what I did. I was able to track things in the forest.
Right.
I had to learn animal tracking, even though I'm not a hunter. I'm not a hunter. Doesn't mean I can't hunt. I know how to hunt. I don't want to hunt. I don't like killing things. I'm not a big firearms guy. I have firearms, but I don't carry them into the woods unless it's ultimately necessary. Right. I can't stress the importance of just knowing your environment. And that was, from day one. And again, 27 years I've been doing this. So it's been from day one, it's been a learning process. Even to this day, next year, 10 years from now, I will still be learning. And I try to take the areas of weakness that I have, like we did a big push a couple of months ago on hominins, Australopithecines, Paranthropus, Homo sapiens. It's so important to understand some of this, and it doesn't come all at once. It comes over time, and it comes piece by piece by piece, and you constantly have to revisit the science. Like there is a discovery of another Homo sapien, and I don't want to get into that just yet, but I can't even pronounce the new name yet, but I will eventually learn.
Education is good.
Right. So as I learn, I try to pass that off in book form.
Right.
And that is huge to me because, again, I followed my tenets of Bigfoot research. And tenet number 4 out of the 5 is responsibility to educate. As I learn things, as far as my goals is to pass that on, to give it to other people.
That's right, Grant. Be a lifelong learner. You've got one brain. Your job in life is to fill it up. Don't let it go to mush. Fill it up.
Right. Oh, absolutely, Jen. I did. And we'll be talking more about that as well. Absolutely. As I try to see where this fits into our Bigfoot mystery here, I'm sure I can find a way. Again, getting back to the
Danny says, I used to say I saw a Bigfoot, but now I say it was something rectangular that made a sound and was instantly gone. It was not a bear, but was something not recognized as being here.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. There's going to be observations that people can't explain for whatever reason. And there are a number of psychological reasons. There's a number of maybe you did see a Bigfoot, but because the way your mind interpreted everything,
Right.
because if it's not in your catalog and you're seeing it for the first time, your mind is going trying to figure out what it is.
Right.
Right.
I think that's fair. And you've got to be honest with yourself.
Right.
Recognize, that not everything you see from a distance may be what you think it is.
Right.
If you could be honest with yourself and admit that, I think that says a lot towards your investigative ability right there. You're being honest with yourself.
Right.
That means a lot.
There is so much to this mystery, and I want everybody out there within the range of my voice out there on the internet and people that are watching. I want them to learn. I want them to understand it, but I want them to be science-based. I don't want them, in my newest book, the one that's coming out on the 15th, there's a section of my investigation philosophies. And there's a point in the book where I write that, the woo side of things, the paranormal side of things, the UFO side of things, that's an easy out. That's the easy way out. It's very enticing. Well, I can explain this whole thing just by applying this topic to it. That's why we can't find it, because it's X, Y, and Z. And that's easy. Then it throws out any excuse to have anything scientific in front of you. Right?
Yeah.
Now, that's done for one of two reasons. Either somebody has given up, or somebody is a charlatan.
Yeah.
I can say this, that, and this, become elevated in the community and not have any repercussions, and do not need to provide one shred of evidence.
In reality, you cannot explain one mystery by conflating it with a totally different, unrelated mystery.
Right. Right. And again, here we try to have these discussions that, a lot of people fear to tread sometimes. Right. And there are some great shows that will discuss that out there. Yeah. And again, I want to, throw out, you want to be watching Nikki's show over there at Harry Man Hoodwinks. I don't know if she's changed the name of that show now, but Nikki Cologne show runs a great show.
Yeah. I think it's Sasquatch Secrets.
Sasquatch Secrets. Thank you. I keep reverting to Harry Man Hoodwinks and Hoaxes. Or Hoaxes.
Okay, Nikki does change her name around a little bit. But, but it's all good. It's all good.
Right. And, there's, I want to throw out the Sasquatch Experience by our good friend Sean Forker and his podcast partner, James Baker. Henry's Henry May's Crypto Corner, which, he gives his little updates every once in a while. That's a great little, Blonde and Booze. They have a lot of, kind of wilder stuff. But hey, it's they're not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. I will promote any podcast that does not try to pull the wool over people's eyes. They may let people come on and tell stories that we may not agree with. They may be real or not, but that's okay. Sasquatch Odyssey, Brian at least tries, tends to let people talk without kind of interdicting any kind of editorial on it. That's fine too. There are different types of shows, but here's the type of show we like to talk about: the science of things. We like to talk about things with investigative principle, and we love to pass that on.
And unfortunately, that does lead to busting hoaxers every now and then. But
Right. And even
part of the job.
Tex on Blonde and Booze the other night, he asked me that. He said at first, you stepped on some toes. I'm like, whoa, how did I step on toes? And then I had to explain, I don't consider stepping on toes, calling out somebody that's hoaxing. I may have hurt their feelings, but a lot of times it's nothing personal.
Right.
I have nothing personal against any people I've called out necessarily, unless they've done something harmful to me. Now, there are people that are, as Autumn Williams used to call them, asshats, that have, the guy from Sasquatch, Ontario tries to act like I'm nobody and he's somebody. Of course, that would explain, the chapter on illusionary superiority in the psychology of Bigfoot, how here's a guy who has not done one lick of Bigfoot research except make phony videos, right? But turns around and tries to exclaim he's better than everybody else. Sounds like somebody else we know that's moved around the country several times, from Georgia to Vegas to Arkansas to Florida, back to Arkansas, and runs a used car lot. So that kind of sounds like that guy a little bit, illusionary superiority. And that's a common theme with a lot of these, people that hoax. I mean, one takes people out for $3,000 to $5,000 an expedition. And all you need to do is take 5 or 10 people a year and you're doing okay for the year. Wow. Right?
Yeah.
And what do I charge to take people out, Chris?
Nada.
I'm a dime. I find it, if somebody wants to go out with me, I find it my honor. It's my honor that they want to go out with me. Why should I charge them?
That's right.
Let's make a day of it.
Oh man. But that there are people that have turned Bigfoot into a business. They really have. But unfortunately, most of those people are charlatans.
Right.
And, that's not a kind thing to say, but it's true. I'm sorry.
No, and they are. They're full of illusionary superiority. We have one guy that goes out and says, that goes out and says, that he is part of the Council of 12 now. Well, that wouldn't be the Council of 12 anymore. That would be the Council of 13. 13 is an unlucky number. Why would they have such a number like that? Let's add some more anthropomorphism. Let's add superstition in with them too. Well, the Bigfoot don't want to step under ladders because they're afraid it's bad luck, and they don't want to break a mirror.
Well, Mick says, if I did a Sasquatch podcast, I'd do it out in the woods while drinking beer and call it the Great Hairy North, like Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Hey, there's a Sasquatch, eh?
I'd watch Mick.
Shut up, you hoser.
Yeah. Sam Squatch.
Absolutely, Mick. Nick says if he ever sorts out his sciatica, I'll be calling. Sciatica is no joke. I had a sciatic nerve attack a couple of weeks ago, and that was like really my first. And I was like, oh, my back hurts. But then I realized the back pain was going down to my kneecap, right down the side. I'm like, oh, that was horrible. And it was just, I think it was the way I was sitting while I was working, driving the other day. It was just,
it's not fun when you can't walk, and it's very hard to do research.
Right.
I've got a 4-wheel electric scooter now, though. I'll be trying that dude out this year.
It'd be like George Costanza in the woods. Remember that episode of Seinfeld where George had the scooty thing?
Oh, I can't remember. No, it's been so long since I watched Seinfeld. Oh my God. Hilarious show though.
Or the commercial. Remember the commercial with the old lady in the Grand Canyon with one?
Yeah. That was her.
And they were trying to take a picture. Oh, just a little further back, just a little further. Ah!
Oh, that would be terrible.
That would.
But I'm gonna upgrade my battery pack on my scooter so I can get out there.
Let me tell you something, Danny. I'm pretty friggin' fast. You can ask Chris that. I'm pretty friggin' fast. When I need to hoover, I hoover.
Yeah.
I don't move like a person my age. I definitely don't, and that's a good thing. Surprisingly, the knees are still good. The ankles are still good. Even though the ankle every once in a while gives me a little. Yeah, I just realized I was having a little bit of an ankle issue a few days ago, and that sort of worked itself out. So things worked themselves out with me. It just
Yeah, I think depending on the situation, you can move better in some situations than in others. If
But
it's a life
I
and death
I am
situation,
fast.
you can pretty much move. Yeah,
I am
I'll
fast,
sprint.
and now that I'm down all that weight, I can really move a lot faster than I used to.
If my life depends on it, I'm up for 100-yard sprint or whatever.
Which
I
I
may fall
consider.
over at the end of that 100 yards, but
But yes, getting back to
man, I'm out of tea. Could you excuse me for just a minute while I go
Certainly.
grab a glass? I'll be right back.
So Chris is out, and the one thing you didn't hear Chris do is go this.
Don't get me a Snapple.
He did not say that. So although he should have said that. But yeah, I think we are getting better at fettering out real stories versus nonsense stories. And I actually think that the phony stories now are starting to trend downward, which is a good thing. We don't see the level of Bullstein coming out as much as we did a couple of years ago. I think 2 years ago we saw kind of an apex of phony photos and phony stories, and there's even recirculated stuff is not making the rounds as much as it did, which is a good thing. Of course, it's early in the year yet. We still got plenty of time to go. But that's right, Nick. Don't if you can't run, don't get the Sasquatch angry at you. But yeah, I really don't think that. I mean, for the most part, when it comes to a Sasquatch sighting, they're just as apprehensive of you as you are of them. A lot of times people say the Sasquatch has that surprised look in their face too, and that's another. Is that anthropomorphic? I don't think so, because people can see, when something goes like that, they go, the one thing that there is a similarity with human beings and a Sasquatch is their facial expressions. And Chris,
Hey, I'm back.
you know what? You know what?
What, man?
We could have solved that problem for you.
What? How?
Don't get me a Snapple.
Yes.
And your glass would have been filled.
I don't know if Joan would have brought me a Snapple or not. Probably not. Yeah, had to go upstairs and get some filtered water for my tea, because last time I tried making it from downstairs from the faucet, tastes like it was tea mixed with Clorox bleach.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I have lousy water too. Tasting water. The only thing it's good for is making coffee, because coffee masks the.
Well, I guess we could cut back on the bleach when we're washing clothes.
My water has a little bit of a sulfur taste to it.
Well, normally in Kentucky, we normally have pretty good water. But every now and then, yeah, somebody overdoes the chlorine when they drop it in there, and I don't like that. So we typically use filtered water, because I'm too cheap to buy bottled water.
Find the mockumentary Scream of the Sasquatch. It's pretty good, and you will identify the persons represented. Pretty funny. Okay.
Oh, thanks, Boris. Man, I've been looking for a good a new Bigfoot show to watch, man. Everything's been kind of slow on the Bigfoot production scales.
Yes.
We've not had too many new stuff come out.
Well, there is another media shift too, and that's Discovery. The Discovery networks have kind of shifted away from doing fringy type shows for some reason, and there was a bunch of paranormal shows. They axed the Ghost Brothers, the Osbournes program, Jack Osbourne's program. The only one, what else? The Dead Files was another one that was going on. The only thing on right now, monster wise, Alaskan Killer Bigfoot, that one was killed.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. We never did figure out how the Sasquatch burned the shed down or the shack down or whatever. But
I think he did one of those Vietnamese monk things. He probably just set himself on fire while he was inside the shed. So if they go back, they'll find the bones, maybe.
So there is some huge. I mean, if you're wondering why, and truthfully, I have a feeling, Chris, that there will be yet another book release before the end of this year.
Oh, that would be cool.
And there's a reason why, because I'm hoping that there will be a gear shift here within the next 9 months to a year.
Yeah.
Maybe sooner.
Well, what I'm hoping for is that people, once they stop concentrating on struggling and trying to put food on the table, they'll be able to concentrate on recreational things like making Bigfoot documentaries and things like that. But even the private documentaries have went down. I mean, at one point, like every time you flipped on Tubi or whatever, you could find a new Bigfoot documentary, and it was just some random guy that maybe you never heard of, or some random woman that you maybe never heard of, and they would come out with a Bigfoot documentary. And I got to admit, it wasn't a total waste. Some of the stuff was really interesting,
but it wasn't very exciting, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Right.
No, that's true.
Right. So trust me on this, and we'll talk after.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk after. There has been a little bit of a development.
Okay. Good.
Little bit of a development, but it's gonna spell a lot of good things for this channel. Let me just say that.
That's good.
Nothing official, nothing, but there is a game plan in place now, finally. And it's still being refined a bit, but the idea has finally come to me. And it's amazing that sometimes, and then that's the beautiful thing about my job, I think a lot when I drive.
Yeah.
And I drive for a living now.
Oh, yeah.
So when I think about things, it comes up with some idea.
Right? Yeah, I like that. When you're on a long drive, it's kind of like mowing the lawn. When I'm out there riding around on the lawnmower, or used to, I could solve the world's problems. Riding around on the lawnmower,
Okay, so here is a trivia question. Why does red light affect our eyes less than bright light does, and disturbs our night vision? Why does red light disturb our night vision less than white light or any other colored light?
Oh.
See if anybody knows the answer to that. No, not at all. But why does red light not affect? Nope. Close, Boris, close. So there is a enzyme in our eyes called rhodopsin. And rhodopsin affects our night vision. So, and it just so happens that rhodopsin is less reactive, or is used as we lose our rhodopsin in our eyes, we lose our night vision. But red light, for some reason, does not affect the rhodopsin in our eyes like a bright light does.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's not as much interaction with pupil dilation either. I mean,
Right. So yeah, the actual chemical is RH. RHODOPISIN, I believe it's rhodopsin, And that is the actual enzyme in the eye that
Yep. Helps with your night vision. And also make sure you always remember to take a good dose of vitamin A a few days before going out into the field at night. Vitamin A will help your night vision.
Yep. Take. I would. I would definitely take all your vitamins before going out into the field.
Oh yeah, you'll need them.
You'll need them.
Maine wild blueberries enhance your night vision. Don says Maine wild blueberries enhance your night vision. A study was done. I'll bet they're packed with good old vitamin A.
Do you know what else?
And C too, probably.
Do you know what else enhances your vision?
What? Because I need it. Glasses would help mine.
Your six pack.
Oh, glasses would help my vision for reading. I mean, and I don't know why. When I got up to a certain age, it's like I started when I was reading stuff. I was like, all of a sudden, this is blurry. Why is this blurry today? I don't understand. And then you put on the readers, and okay, I can see.
I misplaced my reading glasses for about a week. I haven't found them. Like they're around somewhere, but I've been managing without them. So.
Well, normally I have to manage without mine because the wife always loses hers. Right. And she'll come grab mine, and next thing I know, mine are lost too. So
my one of the managers at work, she's got like 5 different pair laying around everywhere.
Yeah. That's right.
We kind of bust her chops about that. Like, hey, can I borrow one of those? Oh, okay. But yeah, I got to say that at least where I work with a great bunch of people. So if any of them are listening, because a lot of them have wanted to, some of them have subscribed to the podcast. We want to shout out to all my friends there.
Good.
And
give them a hard time at work.
That's right. Give me a hard time at work. Chris, I think we're about done for tonight's show. People are checking out, and it's.
Yeah, they probably I don't know if the Super Bowl is ended yet or not, but they probably want to catch it.
It's just about ended, I believe. Let's see if we get anything official. Yes, the Super Bowl is over with. The Eagles have won.
Okay, well, congratulations if that was your team. I have no idea. I didn't even know who was playing. I don't follow sports.
Well, Pennsylvania is going to be happy today. But yeah, we've had a great time tonight. Chris, do your thing. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, always pleased to have our audience with us. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. If it's your first time in the chat, and I don't see any new names in there, but if you haven't already,
Shirty, relatively new.
Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Smash that like button. We gotta have that, dude. We gotta have it. I always say it because I always mean it. You guys are the greatest audience you could ever hope for. Thank you for joining us and supporting the channel and hanging out with us on Sunday nights and Wednesdays and Fridays sometimes. We know you guys are, I couldn't ask for any better, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
And now to Adam Davies.
When you consider great leaders of men, you often think of people like Alexander the Great, Napoleon, Winston Churchill, but in recent times, there's Steve Kulls, the Squatch detective.
There you have it. Okay, folks, we will see everybody Wednesday evening.
Give me a holler, man.
9 p.m. Eastern, of course. Recent on February 18th, just 9 days from now. Oh, well, actually, let me just announce this. On 2/17, I'll be on the Sasquatch Experience with Sean Forker. And on the 18th, I'll be on Bigfoot Michigan Rob's podcast as well. And on March 19th, next month, I'll be on Doug Hychek's show as well. So, and we've still got a couple of more lining up. Yep. And I'm going to be on, I got to look. I'm going to be on the Sasquatch Experience or Sasquatch Watch of Virginia's program again, too. We're going to be talking about the book and science and Bigfoot and stuff. So we're doing this big book tour. Now I got 2 books to promote now. But that was quite a surprise. But I didn't expect it to get it done that quick, but I did. I just put my nose to the grindstone.
Well, when you're on a roll, keep it rolling.
That's right. I don't know if it's a Kaiser roll or a poppy seed roll or whatever, but I'm on a roll. But anyhow, folks, again, we'll catch everybody Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on youtube.com/@Squatch-D-TV, SquatchDTV.com. And of course, visit the website at SquatchDetective.com to get all your links to the books, to get all your listing of events I'll be showing up at this year. And we got to still add a couple of more to that. So even that list is kind of, I'm just waiting on the graphics from Missouri. And, oh yeah, that's right. I didn't tell everybody I'm going to be in Missouri. I think it's the 18th and 19th of September this year. So that'll be about a week out because they moved up Pennsylvania Bigfoot Camping Adventure to the end of August. So August is going to be busy with a couple of events. September is going to be busy with a couple of events, and we'll see what we can. And in May, I'm going to be, and I'm waiting for the graphic on that. I'm going to be doing a presentation down at Kinderhook at the Kinderhook Paranormal Encrypted show, which is going to be happening at the Kinderhook Public Library. So a lot of fun stuff going on. So again, we'll see everybody Wednesday, of course. In the meantime, everybody be safe. God bless. Keep on squatching. We'll see you all in a couple of days.
We thank you for being here with us on Squatch-D TV. If you haven't taken the time yet, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And oh yes, hit that notification bell too. We don't want you to miss anything. If you really like our content, you should consider becoming a member, and it's really inexpensive and a great way to support not only the show, but honest Bigfoot research. Everyone have a great week. Be safe and God bless. We will see you all here next time on Squatch-D TV. Keep on squatching.